Hey, this is Hill and Arthur, and we're here to look at a teaser trailer for Ninja Gaiden 3. At first glance, Arthur, you'd say this probably doesn't look like it reveals very much, but maybe that's not the case.
Yeah, we've been peeking at it, and we got some stuff to point out. Oh, here we go.
Now, the trailer itself doesn't last very long. It's just Ryu cutting through a guy, and you just think, oh, there's going to be a lot of blood and a lot of crap falling down in the background, and that's going to be the game. But we think that this leads to a lot of clues, actually, to what the game is going to be. In fact, that's the entire trailer. But if we jump back to kind of the early beginnings, we'll get a look at first at Ryu's face. So just notice that on our left side, looking at the screen, that side of his face is clean right now. His eyes are just kind of normal. You know, there's nothing kind of particularly odd about it. But as he cuts into this guy, that's going to change. So you can see right now, there's kind of these dark markings, his eyes kind of glowing a little bit. Arthur, what would you say is going on here?
Well, we've got some other clues that this sort of ties into. First of all, if you are a very sharp Ninja Gaiden fan, you'll know that he is not wielding the dragon sword, the dragon blade. He is actually wielding the sword of the Archfiends. You can tell by the scabbard and the sword on the right-hand side of the screen. Yeah,
if you look at sort of, there's blood on one side of the blade, but there are like definite red markings, and there's also the markings on the black part of the scabbard. Those are 100%, that's definitely the blade of the Archfiend.
Yeah, if you played Ninja Gaiden 2, Genshin, the leader of the Black Spider Clan, is the guy that you took the blade of the Archfiend from. If you also look, there's some crazy stuff going on Ryu's right arm. We had some conversation. I don't think this is a scar. Hill, you don't think this is a scar?
No, I think that my guess is, so with Genshin, if I'm not mistaken, when he used the blade, he would kind of like, I guess, sort of absorb something from his enemies, and it basically turned him into a fiend over time.
Right, yeah,
so,
it corrupted him.
It corrupted him, so we're thinking that maybe, you know, it looks like one half of Ryu is healthy and the other half is being corrupted, which may lead to the idea that maybe there's some sort of level of moral choice, that you could either be good or you could like kind of go evil but pay the price of turning into a fiend.
Right, so Genshin, if you remember Ninja Gaiden 2, Genshin used the sword in his left hand and his right hand had a talon. This might have something to do with it. Another thing is that you can see crazy stuff going on in the background, a cityscape just being destroyed.
There's a helicopter up in the upper left corner. And also, I believe that the blade of the Archfiend was formed from like meteorites or something like that.
Yeah, it's like an iron meteorite breathed upon by the Archfiend himself, or something like that, which could be something or nothing.
These could be meteorites falling in the background. It's a little bit hard to tell. Something certainly crazy going on in the city.
If there's an apocalypse going on, essentially, that would explain maybe why Ryu is using the blade of the Ancients or the blade of the Archfiends, because using that with the dragon sword is supposed to be immeasurably powerful.
And if you get that good look at Ryu's corrupted arm right here, you can see this isn't just blood. These aren't scars. Like, this is actually something covering up. It almost looks like Carnage from the Spider-Man comic books. Like something is actually changing and overtaking his hand.
You'll also notice that Ryu is wearing new armor.
And as he pulls off the mask, if we look really closely, it actually does show like a clean side of his face. Again, we think that, you know, the left half of his body is sort of looks normal, and the part we can't see is perhaps the part that's going to be, as it says, unmasked at E3 2011.
And if you look at his right arm right now, like you see the vein just like the left arm, but it just definitely looks like there's some kind of membrane that's starting to cover it. Yeah.
And if we go back to the sort of look back at the cutting stuff too, one of the things that Team Ninja is adding this time is they wanted you to really feel like you were cutting through the bone. So when you see the cut and the second cut that comes there, you kind of get that sense of, you know, he cuts the blade in and then he has to do a second move to kind of continue to cut through. They want to give you that kind of visceral sense. So there is the potential that maybe the way that you kill people determines kind of like your morality. So instead of kind of making more obvious good and bad choices, it's just like how brutal you are with your kills might actually determine like what level of sort of fiend you are.
This would sort of seem to make it clear that enormous amounts of blood are returning from Ninja Gaiden 2.
There's certainly a lot of blood. That's honestly a really quick look. That's about all we can tell you about Ninja Gaiden 3. But come back for E3 2011 in June when we will see more of the game.